Hello and welcome back to the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, episode 93. I'm your host, Jake Burke, and joined, as always, by James St. Charles and Ted Libby. Ted, how are you doing today? We just heard about James's NBA career. How are you?
Doing good.
Yeah.
Hang in there, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
cool.
You know,
Cool.
it's another spring day,
Yeah.
which means
Is it?
that it's
It's
too
not the
cold
rain.
and too hot.
Oh, at the same time.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
A lot of steam in the air.
Yep.
I did my taxes.
Oh, did you get money back or you have to pay money?
I barely got money back, which I know. I like this year for some reason. Some people are getting a lot of money because of stimulus checks. I got a whole bunch of money, and then TurboTax was like, "Wait a minute, wait a minute, yeah.
Say
Where's
the magic word.
your 1095-C form?" And I was like, "I don't know, TurboTax." And they were like, "Well, find it." And I had to go through the whole thing over again, and
Oh.
it eventually took off like half of what I was going to get back.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was rough. It was a rough
Wow.
day.
But enough about taxes, because this is the 93rd episode of the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, where every Monday morning a new episode goes live on youtube.com, SoundCloud, and Spotify. Once a week, we sit down in Discord over 500 miles, talk about a gaming-related topic, and what games we were playing. Damn it, I was so close. I almost had it. But this week, we're going to be talking about the Metaverse. And what that is, what does Sony's and Lego's investment into Epic Games mean? But before we start, boys, I have an announcement. Okay.
You don't know what the Metaverse is.
Well, that's my second announcement.
That's your announcement.
My announcement is this: I have become the Elden Lord.
Oh, you beat it.
I beat it.
Oh my
Woo!
gosh,
I told you were close to the end. Like when you're telling me about
that's insane.
the God skin, I was like, oh, you're right there.
I beat it.
I don't think I'm going to beat it. I've fallen off the wagon and I cannot jump back on.
I beat it. 85 hours.
That's insane.
Very good.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now
Thank you.
I
That's
have
a
a,
feat. That's a real feat.
I
Yeah.
got another question
Yeah.
for Jake.
Yeah.
I've had people who've beaten it and New Game Plus or starting over. Are you gonna New Game Plus?
Eventually, but not for a while.
Okay.
I think it's
Okay.
for the health of the people around me. I need to not play all day.
You need
for a
to
while.
not play.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have you
What
beaten
about
it yet, James?
Star Wars? I've been waiting.
Okay.
I'm at the last
Yeah.
area.
Area.
If that makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah, I
The
know where you are.
last two bosses.
Yep.
If that makes sense. You
Yeah.
know.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's stuff, dude. We've talked so much about Elden Ring, but man, what a game! I'm now gonna play Lego Star Wars. I've played a lot more of it, so I'm gonna talk about it later at the end of the show because I can fill you in on
played
kind of
some-
what Oh, you have as
Played
well,
some
Ted?
too. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, then yeah, we'll talk about that at the end of the show. Great. But I wanted
Hey.
to announce my Elden victory. Happened earlier
you know
today.
I have been playing a secret game, so we'll talk about that.
Ooh.
It's an old game that released a while ago, but it was on sale. So love talking about those.
I love that. All right. Now, Ted, I kind of threw this at you.
You really did. Like an hour.
Like an
ago.
hour before.
Uh-huh.
Like
I
an
wanna
hour
say-
before, you were like, "Hey,
That was like 2
just
hours.
so you guys know, I
It was
don't
at like
know."
3:30.
That was
like
an
4
hour
hours ago.
Hey, you know.
And you was like, "Hey, just so you know, I don't have any idea what the Metaverse is. Can you guys like research it for me?"
Ted, I need this turned in
Because I'm a little
by
bit
the
busy.
close of business.
And I was like, "I'm at work, but I guess I'll throw up some YouTube videos."
But you weren't
your
that
job.
busy. Ted, you did.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
So
you were busy enough.
So this is going to be the as layman as it gets in terms
Okay.
of discussing this topic.
So can I explain why we're discussing this topic? And why
Yeah.
it's relevant
Do
to
explain
us?
Why this happened.
Yeah. So I brought-
None of my research explains what you're about to say.
No, that's okay, because I don't think there's much to say yet about it.
Uh-huh.
So this comes from GamesIndustry.biz. This came from April 11th, so this Monday that we are recording the show. From Marie, Delisandria. I nailed that last name, thought it was going to be hard. All right, Epic Games has raised about $2 billion in funding, it announced today. The funds came from existing investors with Sony Corporation and Kirkby, the investment company behind Lego, each contributing $1 billion. The investment will go towards advancing the company's vision to build the metaverse and support its continued growth. Epic said in the announcement. It added that the company continues to have a single class of common stock outstanding, with CEO and co-founder Tim Sweeney still in control. Sweeney commented, "As we reimagine the future of entertainment and play, we needed partners to share our vision. We have found those partners in Sony and Kirkby. So this investment will accelerate our work behind and build the metaverse and create spaces where players can have fun with friends, brands, and build creative and immersive experiences with the creators that can build the community to thrive in. So, Epic got a huge amount of funding for the metaverse. Facebook obviously changed their name to Meta to build the metaverse. So that's where a lot of these tech companies think the future is. Ted Libby, if I'm a dummy, and I've only ever seen Ready Player One, what's the metaverse?
Get ready to be disappointed.
All right.
Okay, well, so the first thing, when did this news happen, by the way? Was this days ago?
Yeah, Monday.
April 11th.
April 11th.
Yeah. April 11th? Okay.
Glad to know you're listening.
Yeah. So the most important thing about the metaverse is that it's different things.
Right.
Like, when I hear metaverse, I think universe, and I think all one thing, and that's not the case at all.
Okay.
God, this is so stupid. Okay, so let me take you back. Let me run down the timeline for you.
Where are we going back to? What age?
I want you to wind the clocks back, to like March of 2020.
Oh, okay, March 2020.
Yeah.
That's a bad month, Ted. That's
it was a little bit of a rough month.
Jesus.
I don't know if you guys remember. There was a lockdown. There was a sniffle in the air.
Mm-hmm. Final Fantasy VII Remake came out that month. That was a good month for that game to come out.
Yeah.
So we've been in a global pandemic for 2 years now. We just celebrated our second anniversary.
We couldn't be more thrilled.
I know, it's very exciting. Yeah. No, but like we spent 2 years locked in our homes, unable to talk to anybody. Mm-hmm. And that includes everything, right? If you wanted any social spaces for fun, had to be done on a computer. Work, Zoom calls, meetings, team chats. Our culture around work and socializing totally changed. So what if there was a virtual space where you could just do all of those things that you were doing in real life, but at home? So enter Facebook or Meta, who owns Oculus Rift, the VR headset, who completely rechanged their brand name to Meta, probably to avoid all the other negative criticism that Facebook and Instagram have received. Mm-hmm. That's a podcast for a different time.
Yeah.
Anyway, they rebranded themselves to Meta, and I watched the full presentation of Mark Zuckerberg basically saying, what if you could put on a pair of goggles and turn your crappy 6x10 room into literally whatever you wanted? Mm-hmm. And he starts giving examples of, like, it could be your home with a beachside view. It could be your office, and it could be a social space. Your friends could come in. And that's basically what the metaverse is. It is social interactions without constructive play, like a video game. The best way to describe it is like just hanging out with your friends in a MMO town where there's not really anything to do, but you're in a whole new world and you're hanging out with your friends. You can chat, you can talk. That's kind of what this is. At its core, this is like free-form sandbox social interaction in VR, it seems. Meta is very much about Meta, the company, which is going to get confusing, is very much seems to be about VR.
Yeah.
But that's generally the gist of it. It is a sandbox.
Okay. So then, yes, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So, an example that I could think of is like you could be in a VR space and there could be a deck of cards, right? Now, in a video game, a deck of cards might mean like you're playing a game, like solitaire or something. The game sets rules. This could just be a deck of 52 cards. It's up to you and other people to play a game of cards.
Oh, okay.
That's where the unconstruction comes from. Right? It's not structured like we're playing a first-person shooter. It's just there's a gun on the ground and you can do what you want with it. So that's the basic idea. Facebook has this Meta had this whole idea of like you have a home, like this is their like vision for the future. You have a home that you can customize however you want, beachside view, furniture over there, furniture over here. You can invite your friends to come over and hang out with you in a virtual space at home. And here's where the kicker comes in, or you guys can go do things. And so this is kind of where we've seen examples of this, like proto metaverses.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, famously Fortnite hosted a movie night in Fortnite, where
And
you
a
would
concert.
where you
And
yeah
concerts, yeah, the
and a
virtual
concert and Minecraft
Travis Scott.
did this as well, where you could. I'll go to the movie example first. You logged into your Fortnite character with your friends. You could run around this little like theater space, and if you looked up and to the left, there would be a giant movie theater playing. I think it was Inception was the movie they picked.
And
But,
they had done this a lot, like testing it out earlier. Like they premiered like a Star Wars episode 9 clip in Fortnite, and like
Yeah.
they've done a lot of this kind of working in
Yeah,
like,
Avengers
space.
stuff too.
Yeah,
and
Avengers
so
had some stuff.
and same thing, like Minecraft has these virtual raves where you go in with your friends, you're playing Minecraft, but like you look up and there's the booth with the light show and the sounds. And the key thing there is this is not like Netflix where you just see a full screen movie. Like you're playing your avatar looking up at the screen.
Mm-hmm.
That is the extra level of, what is it, engagement, or that's what the metaverse is. It's not that I'm watching a movie, it's that I'm in a space with my character and my friends watching a movie. So going back to Meta, this is their dream, right? Like you put your headset on, you're at home, you invite your friends, they come into your home, you guys then all teleport to a movie release, to a concert. And then Mark Zuckerberg goes into like, and we could do business meetings in here. You can throw up your work laptop, and he just like whoop, and like, your work screen shows up here, and then if you don't want work anymore, you just close it. I don't know how you feel about going into VR to go to work, but that's what he thinks is going to be the future. And so that's the general idea overall of the metaverse. That's the utopian dream, is that we can get rid of the constraints of reality by just leaving it entirely and building I think the key phrase I kept seeing was alternative virtual world.
An AVW, as they say.
Yep.
James, what are your thoughts on the AVW?
All right. So basically,
thank you, Ted. By the way, thank you very much.
Oh, there's a part 2. There's a part 2. Don't give me.
Okay, we'll get
yeah. I'll comment on the first part, but with Metaverse in terms of virtual reality, at least in my experience with a virtual reality setting, which is VR chat, Metaverse is seen as a negative thing in that community, mainly because VR chat's kind of existed, and there's been like offsets of other VR games like Neos, which is also exactly what Metaverse is. And then there's also Vive has their own, which is called Viverse, I think. So basically everyone's taking Metaverse because of course it's just everyone knows it, and they're associating the VR space where you can have friends come over and or do business meetings, where that already exists, and it actually exists better than Metaverse, because Metaverse, your avatars don't have feet, don't have legs, you just have arms and that.
Well,
so VR chat, you could have full body, you can have legs. All your you can have legs.
So that actually brings me to 2 points. One, there's this misconception the metaverse is everything, but no, like metaverses, as we have coined the term, already exist. Like VR chat, for all intents and purposes, is a metaverse.
Yes.
We just now have Facebook making a really big push to try and basically fool us all into thinking that there is one metaverse and that they have created it.
Yeah.
And
actually, the other thing. Oh, go ahead.
What we're thinking. When we talk about Meta controlling the metaverse, I don't like it, because when I think of, like, I think you said it right away, Jake, about Ready Player One. When I think about like the digital space, I think about it like kind of like the internet, where it's free and everyone can use it and anyone can have it, and it's just like there. But if you have like a company like Meta like owning it, and we saw what happened to Ready Player One with like a company and all.
Yeah.
I don't know about this. That's why I like the idea of multiple metaverses, like what you're just talking about, Ted.
Yeah. Well, and so that brings me to the second point, is that Facebook Meta has really heavily, they are claiming that they are going to really heavily invest both financially and in research and development for this idea, which they can. And this has even sparked companies like Microsoft to say that, yes, we're doing something similar. The examples they gave I actually think are really cool in terms of like short-term VR. They're working on a headset that has cameras in the headset itself to track all of your facial movements. Oh. So if you laugh, just like genuinely laugh in VR, your avatar will project a realistic laugh. Huh. Similarly, they're working on the thing that I think VR desperately needs, which is fingers.
Yeah, that's everyone. That's
yeah.
the last thing. It's basically like fingers tracking.
Yeah,
a console.
is like finger tracking and making like your hands work
Yeah.
better
As
in the
hands.
space. Because right now, you hold a controller and you kind of get this like
And that's how
claw
you
grip.
claw
Yeah.
your, yeah.
The best one, the best one is the Index, and the next best one is going to be the PlayStation 5 one that comes out. That one's probably going to be the best one, but you're still holding something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
And
needs
so
to
that
be
they're trying to make, just open-handed fingers a thing.
right.
Microsoft and Meta have both said they want to start integrating real objects into your metaverse. So basic idea, if there's a table, you can say this is a table, that way you don't hit it.
Yeah.
But also you can like program your morning coffee mug to be in the metaverse. That way you can pick up and grab it in virtual reality, no problem. So the short-term wise, the technology for VR seems like a real win. They're really trying to integrate just passive things about human beings that like we do as existing into this world.
That's interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. But there's a part 2.
Yes.
And this is something that keeps coming up. You cannot divulge yourself of the metaverse without talking about this. Jake, can you read bullet point number 4 for me?
On what? We have a thing going?
Yeah, I was like, did we have something?
What do we have?
There's a dock. I have a dock.
You made a dock? You didn't mention the dock at all.
You told me to make a dock, and I did.
Where's our link?
Where's the link? Where's the dock?
It's the other one.
Oh. Okay, a shitty timeline in the metaverse. I found it.
Thank you.
Okay, what do I read in bullet point 4?
Please read number 4 for the class.
This... Oh, God. I hate that he, like, spells stuff wrong.
I know.
This is where, but it's where, like, you're wearing clothes. I just want to specify that it's not the right where. This is where we get crypto.
Currency. We'll edit in some air horns after you say that.
Should I read the whole thing, or you want me just that was it?
No, that was it. That was
okay.
So this is kind of where.
Thanks for making the doc, Ted. That was really nice of you, man. Good doc.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is where things get dicey because the crypto people have gotten involved. Right, we're talking about alternative new worlds. And what can you do in alternative new worlds? You can sell stuff and buy stuff. And so crypto has gotten really heavily involved in the idea of the metaverse. The biggest thing that I kept seeing overall is this idea of like buying NFTs, which we'll talk about in a second, and buying property. This is the idea. I tried to get away from it. I watched like 7 videos that was all fine. It was all not financial advice about people basically saying like, yes, you should definitely spend a couple $1,000s in the current metaverses to buy property. That way, when the metaverse is just a thing that everybody goes to, you'll be the landlord. Right? If somebody's hosting a virtual movie, you're the one who owns the virtual movie theater. And if you just buy in now, then you'll have it for when we all, forgetting the fact that there are multiple metaverses and like somebody can just make a whole new one and forget about yours.
Like, that is such a dumb concept that is very real that's probably going to be a thing that is like very valuable. But what a dumb concept. It's like, I got to buy this movie theater in a virtual world so that I can start fucking upselling people when they want to go see Avengers 6.
Right.
No, it's a very real thing.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of scams about it too recently, about like selling digital property, and they've been like rug pulling you.
Yeah.
Basically. I did want to comment on one thing. Facebook, I don't know if I was reading it today or yesterday. They announced they're going to take a 50% commission for anything that you create for the metaverse, or are going to sell 50% on their market, which they were fighting Apple and all that for like a 30% commission and all. So they want to take 50%. I don't see it.
Yeah, they seem to expect this to not make money for a long time, which I thought was a weird thing to say. Like, they're pretty public, like that until basically the whole world just treats this as a given, they will not be making money. So to hear that, creators get like shafted 50%. For 50%,
it's not surprising.
But yeah, so, and of course the other big thing is NFTs, which I don't know. There's probably 1,000 articles about NFTs that don't explain what they are. I think I figured it out.
Ooh.
But yeah.
What is a
Do you want me to
non-fungible token?
Do you want me to
Ted?
explain to you what NFTs are
Yeah.
in like the shittiest way possible?
Yeah.
I want to hear how you played it.
Okay. So this is what I've deciphered.
Jerry's gonna rip apart whatever you
I know.
say.
Okay, well, so like cryptocurrency
Mhm.
is electronic currency that is given value simply because we have value.
I believe it stands
Like
for
all-
Krypton currency. Is that correct?
No,
Oh,
I don't actually know.
No,
I thought it was just called
No.
crypto.
cryptography.
No, cryptography. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
The basic idea, it's a decentralized currency. Every wallet, every dollar out there that's crypto keeps like an accounting log of everyone else's transactions.
Yeah,
the
it's
idea
all
being
contract.
that like the checks and balances write themselves.
Mhm.
Via the blockchain.
Hence this is the keyword, the blockchain. Basically, this way you can't like copy paste extra bitcoins because the rest of the system doesn't recognize that new one. So the whole system is constantly checking itself, and this is how you get authenticity. If crypto is a dollar bill, then an NFT is just something to buy with the dollar bill. It uses the exact same system, the same like decentralized checks and balances, except instead of a currency, it's a thing. It can be anything. I don't know how computer architecture works, but from what I understand, it doesn't have to be a JPEG image. It can literally be anything.
Yeah.
It can be any computer data can be stuck in a place on the blockchain and it is considered an NFT. And of course, an NFT is special because of this checks and balances instead of like, I don't know, a video game skin, which like, would you spend $200 for a Counter-Strike skin?
No.
No, that's silly.
But if it was unique, Ted, if no one
Well,
else
that's the
in
thing,
the world
right?
had this skin,
Well, Valve can just flick a switch and make another one, right?
Yeah, that's
Well,
the thing.
an
You don't really own
NFT
it.
is unique. An NFT, yeah.
So how the NFTs work is that let's say someone, like, the most popular thing is people are creating like these, like the Bored Apes is very famous.
Yeah, some
or the yacht.
horrific images.
All these like art, and someone will create like a one of, and that's like a computer generated image. And what you're doing is when you buy an NFT is you're buying the key. And it was the same thing with like cryptocurrency. And cryptocurrency was like, you have a wallet, which is like you have the chest. And what you're trying to do is match the key to the chest so that you can deposit currency, basically. That's all you're doing. So what NFTs are is you have the key to access the location of where that image is stored. So it's like you have a link.
okay.
So, but it's unique in the sense that you're the only one with that link. You're the only one that can go and look at that. You don't actually really own the NFT. You don't actually have the asset. Like, you just own the link to look at that asset. No one else does. So that's why, right now, people can steal NFTs. Because they can steal your key.
Yeah.
That's why it's not really secure.
No, it's
It's
not
almost
good.
never, even like cryptocurrency, people can steal your wallet. But your wallet key is like super big, long string of text. Like, it'd be like someone would have to like come in and really steal it. So that's why,
Yeah.
But
an NFT in our dystopian future could be like a gun skin in a video game.
Right.
If we get more into the metaverse, it could be a costume.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is where we get a lot of like outside branding ideas. Like Nike could sell a pair of shoes virtually in a virtual world to a buyer, and through computer magic, it is unique in the same way that a real pair of shoes is unique to you. As opposed, like, they're not just copy pasting.
Yeah.
It's like quote unquote unique to you. Although the end result for the user is pretty much the same. It's a skin is a skin.
Yeah.
But this is where you get this feedback loop of Facebook saying they're going to commit $1 billion to this technology. You have finance people who are quote unquote investing in virtual property, which then causes, regular brands, I'm throwing Nike under the bus, but somebody, Supreme, to say we're going to make Supreme t-shirt NFTs and they're going to work in the metaverse.
Yeah.
You fold that right back into the Silicon Valley people who just got paid, and you just have this feedback loop of people, of kind of a circle jerk of money making.
Right. And that's where we are.
That is the metaverse.
That is the that's the current metaverse.
Yeah.
Jake,
Right.
I think what you want is the Ready Player One Metaverse?
Yeah. So
and
what
what
I,
it? Yeah.
oh,
Go. Yeah.
because
I want to hear you.
I was kind of interested. For me, I've learned a lot about Facebook and Meta, like Zuckerberg's basically Metaverse.
Yes.
I've watched a lot of those videos and stuff in the past, and like really like right now he's focused on describing that virtual workplace is really what he's like.
Yeah.
Here's our virtual conference room that you can go in and do a meeting and you can see each other.
Impossible.
I bet that flies so well in a Zoom investor meeting.
I know, right?
Zoomer investor meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's that concept, and that makes sense. What I'm really interested now with, because Ready Player One is like I guess my staple of the metaverse almost in a way of like this virtual world that everyone goes into, and the book is good.
Yes, the book is very good.
I'm really interested with this investment into Epic and what they're doing, because the branding of like the fantasy of the metaverse to me is like kind of important. Of like in Ready Player One, he's got a garage full of just vehicles, and he like describes like just like scrolling through like X-wings and like every kind of plane that's ever been in a video game and stuff. And that I think Fortnite has proven that they are very good at matching brands together. And like
Yes.
somehow they've managed to get Doctor Strange and Harley Quinn and Luke Skywalker and John Wick on the same battlefield. Okay, they've done it.
Can you imagine spending millions of dollars for that X-wing and like a digital asset versus Ready Player One, which you could just like have it because you can create it.
Yeah.
That's not what the metaverse is going to be.
No, it's going to be charging you up the ass for everything.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
And
they're
that
kind of
sucks.
just building a world for the skin collection that you've amassed.
Yeah.
It's kind of what's happening.
That's what Fortnite is, right? Isn't that like a main thing of Fortnite? Is just all the
But
skins.
but
that you can
Fortnite is a game. It's right. Imagine if you took the game out of it and just had a social space where I could walk around in my super rare Wolverine skin.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But what you're describing, Jake, is actually already possible in VR chat in terms of like you can create and model all of those and exist. However, I feel that we're years away, possibly not even in our lifetime. Sadly, it may be like towards the end where you get like full immersion VR, just because the technology is really far behind in terms of where it needs to be to handle VR. I mean, even currently, like VR is absolutely cumbersome. I don't understand like how people would have meetings when you have a giant heater on your head and it's uncomfortable and like it's awkward moving and sometimes it's nauseous. It's very nauseous at the start.
Yeah.
Until you get used to it, and it's like, why the hell would I have this on my head in the meeting when I could just like live in the real world?
Screen,
and
Right.
Yeah.
But
Until you have like full dive or something like that, where it's like I could like lay down and then be in it, you know.
But like for Epic doesn't seem to be going after VR. They're just basically building.
I think they're securing their IP.
Yeah,
future.
they're building out a world for their skin collection. The semi myth that I hear a lot about in the metaverse is that like I can buy a Wolverine costume NFT, and then as long as I own the key to that NFT, I'll be able to take it wherever. There's this idea that going around that like NFTs are like multi compatible, they can just work anywhere, which is not true.
Right.
Like if Facebook says we're building the metaverse, all the Fortnite skins don't come over.
And then with them controlling
Like,
it, they
plain
could
and simple.
deny it. They could be like, actually, we won't accept this company's NFTs or this company because they're not paying our 50% commission or something like that, or they're not in line with our guidelines. And then
at the end of the day,
hell?
like we talk about the fantasy, Ready Player One, like you'll only ever see an Xbox if you're given the freedom to create it, or if Disney signs on. Those are kind of the two ways, you know.
Yeah, that's why we got to go to the underground metaverse.
Exactly.
Yeah, that sounds shady.
The black market.
I want to go there.
Metaverse.
The black market metaverse. A
That's
lot of
sounds-
porn in that one. It actually just looks a lot like Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah, that sounds dark.
Yeah, dark metaverse.
It's just real dark. Okay, so I have a question. Because obviously the metaverse doesn't have to be VR, right?
I think that's the way they're starting, but you're right. It does not have to just be VR.
Do you see a reality where it isn't VR focused? Because then it is just looking at a screen, and why not just play any other video game? Where if you have the headset, you're quote unquote in it. So, like, do you see a reality where it isn't VR focused? Because I feel like that like is the only way that it's interesting.
It has to be. And Oculus is really big and really good because it targets that middle market, and the pricing is great.
If I were to buy a headset, I'm going to get an Oculus for sure.
Yeah,
The Quest
exactly.
is
Most
supposed to be
people
great.
will.
Yeah, Quest 2.
And the Quest 2 is amazing. Quest 2 is like one of the best bang for the bucks that's out there.
Yeah.
And so they're really targeting that. But in terms of like when you put it on and you're gonna get into the VR, yeah, it's gonna be nice for like the first couple months, but then it's gonna be like, okay, I'm actually just staring at a screen, just a smaller screen, and you're not gonna be totally immersed.
Well, yeah, and I feel I have PlayStation VR. We've talked like a lot about it throughout the course of this podcast, but like, man, is it a pain in the ass to try to play PSVR sometimes. The light isn't right in your room. It's like it's too bright, so it can't track you.
I have to play totally dark because it's opposite.
Like, I gotta put a blanket above my window so like I can, and so like that for me, it's like, is the average person gonna like deal with that hassle?
Right.
And how long is it gonna take for the VR headset? Now, Quest is very different. The Quest doesn't have that tracking or anything, but so I don't know. I think that's kind of interesting to strap into it.
To briefly cover VR, I'll be honest, I'm a little bit biased that this feels very dystopian. I already don't like cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
I think it's got its issues. But like, VR is a great place if you kind of live in a shitty studio apartment, either because that's just how things are, or because we live in a shitty dystopian future where they don't need to sell you good apartments because you have VR. This is a great option.
How Ready Player One is.
My first thought when I heard good old Mark Zuckerberg talk was like, what if I go to work at my new job and they say, here's your headset, you need to wear this 8 hours a day? Well, like that might be where the VR part of Metaverse really comes in, is like, because he was very much pushing your workspace. And to get paid, if you have to put this thing on, that'll sell a lot of units.
What I think from my experience since using VR in lockdown and meeting a lot of people, a lot of the users of VR and VR chat are most people that really enjoy it are the ones that like cannot leave their home. Mm-hmm. They either have disabilities, they could be agoraphobic, something is preventing them where they can't actually socialize with everyone, and VR is actually a really great place for them to deal with that kind of socialization, that you can be in VR and act like maybe you have legs, except you don't have legs in Metaverse, but maybe you can't walk and you have legs and you can talk and interact and not be seen as someone who's disabled. And that to me is like a really great thing. You could be perceived different than how you like actually like appear, right? And that's why a lot of people are excited about VR, but maybe not too excited about Metaverse in general. But maybe the general public, like just having that name out there and having like, hey, this is a real thing that can be worked on and may eventually be good. But with Meta in charge of the Metaverse, I seriously doubt that. And I actually hope that other, like Metaverses take hold or, have more stuff going on. The problem is just the technology. It's really, really behind for VR.
We're not there yet.
The flagship VR headset is probably the Index, and it's $1,000, and it's been out for like 5-6 years. It's probably even longer than that, and it's still one of the flagships. There's other VR headsets that are way better, but they cost like $3K, $5K, $10K, and no one's gonna be spending that money for just wearing a heater on your head.
That was even addressed by Meta. They said like, we're coming out with newer technology. It's not consumer level yet.
Yeah,
like,
that's the thing. Like,
we are not expecting you, a consumer, just to buy it. Yeah. So like they know that the technology is going to be a while. It's
just to manufacture the chips and all that, especially right now with the shortage. It's years away.
Yeah.
Metaverse is not happening.
That's the thing. It's like you're starting right now, and we're just talking about it in its infancy. But maybe 10 years from now, it's amazing. Hopefully, the technology is just not there right now. Right. It's cool.
Yeah, to bring up your other point about non-VR Metaverse, I mean, it kind of goes back to something I know, Jake, we've talked about, like Destiny 2's social spaces. Mm-hmm. Like, people are already trying to like socialize their game, MMOify their games, right? If you're going to sell me a skin, give me a place to show off my skin. Yep. And I think this is just a buzzword and an investor call towards that same direction.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Right.
It's something everyone knows and associates with.
Right. Call of Duty World War II had a metaverse in it because there was this random social. Yeah, right. Because there was a random social space where you could run around with your
Yeah,
skin.
James, there is a social space. It's like on the beach of Normandy or something fucking ridiculous. It's like on a beach, like a war battle beach, and it was
Call of Duty 2?
No, World War. No, James, this is where Call of Duty gets confusing. They released a game a while ago called Call of Duty World War II.
Okay.
Like 2017.
2017.
Okay, yeah, that's not my. I wasn't in there.
Yeah, 2018.
I
2019.
didn't deploy on that Call of Duty.
Yeah. No, I don't think any of us played it, but they had a social space. I remember this. It was like on a beach, and it would look like people were like, I think it's Normandy. Like, this
Yeah,
is-
and you would run up to ammo crates to like start deathmatch.
yeah,
But that basic concept
Fun.
that has now just been commodified into Metaverse.
yeah.
And then you have, a guy next to your main sales pitch guy going, also people can invest now and put tons of money into it.
Yeah.
And so, the
They'll
corporate
they'll pay
stars
you nuts for
align.
pixels.
Yeah.
Pay for
So
pixels.
I think so. I think you'll start seeing a lot more games, especially ones that are selling skins. They're going to have more socially spaces to show it off, which I think is great. I love that, like, that downtime social space. Like, in examples, long before the metaverse, like Mario Kart has like a random place where your Mii's just hang out while you're waiting to like
Miiverse.
yeah, little things like that. I always thought that stuff was super fun and very cool. And so if we get more of that, sure.
Yeah,
If it's driven by this need to sell skins
If
or
it's driven
to
by greed, it's gonna get absolutely shot down and no one's gonna bother.
yeah, well,
Especially if
we'll
you
see.
use Oculus
We'll see,
products,
man.
or like you have to have like your Facebook account always connected or something like that. I'm get me out of there.
Yeah,
I don't
I would
want
be
that.
curious how long the Meta company, Facebook, is like in this game and what they do with it. Because I think someone else is going to be the Metaverse company. That
Well, then what if it takes off? What's gonna happen with Meta? Like, it may be too big for one company to handle. They may have to split off. Maybe like some monopoly stuff there. I don't know.
Yeah,
Do a
and
Google Play
I mean,
there.
I'll bring
Alphabet.
out my dystopianism one more time.
Yes.
I've seen a few videos about this and some other articles about Fortnite, game for kids, adding a whole bunch of strange social pressures to elementary school kids who show up to their Friday afternoon game session without a skin and are like picked on and laughed at because they don't have a skin. The metaverse is kind of just making that worse, right? You like imagine if after school activities are now defined by like your in-game outfit.
You actually made me think of the Ready Player One movie because they were like, there's like this items like that costs so much money, and he like grabs it, like he's using all the items.
Yeah.
It's like that makes you think. It's like, oh my god, you have this.
So there could be a world, and this doesn't have to be Meta's metaverse, but one of these metaverses, Fortnite, some new one, where like enough people are playing it, it's in the popular sphere so much that like other people are kind of dragged into it as well. Which I think is what they're all secretly hoping for, is that one way or another, everybody has to participate in this.
Mhm.
It's not like a you choose to. It's like, no, all my friends are doing it, so I have to. I have to come in as well.
You have to play on the Oasis because that's where everyone's job is now.
Right.
Damn it.
Right.
Damn it. Yeah,
Gotta go
I'm
mine.
curious with what Epic does with Fortnite as a brand because I think they're gonna do a lot more than just the battle royale that it's been for a while now. I think we're gonna see a lot more stuff from them. And like with a Fortnite game brand, it's going to be.
It's definitely. I think it's even seen a recent uptick since they got rid of like the building.
Yeah,
and
no build mode has been super popular.
And that mode like brought a lot of people back, and they invested. There's like a little small like Monday night Fortnite tournament, and they threw out $100,000 to the tournament for a week. This is like a weekly tournament, so they're definitely, not shying away. They got a great marketplace. The Epic Game Store that's giving out free games still.
Yeah.
And that's gonna, even though it's not making them any money, it's gonna eventually make them money, I feel. And that's why they're working out these deals to make sure that they can compete. And I like that. I like competition, but I just don't like the current metaverse. What it can be, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm not super
the idea is good. The idea is good.
I play enough
the
video
execution
games.
could be bad.
I don't need to live in one.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm happy for the short-term gains that VR will see,
Mm-hmm.
but ultimately I think, and I don't want a big buzzword that's going around is this a bubble? That's not how bubbles work. Totally different topic.
Is this a Google project that gets abandoned?
No, it's just that I think you're hearing about the metaverse so much because of this feedback loop of like people with money are telling people with money who are telling people with money. And I don't know if what we are hearing about right now is actually going to translate into something as big as they say. I think right now might be a lot of hot air.
Yeah, is the metaverse an MLM, you think?
Crypto is an MLM, so fuck
The
you,
NFTs are
everyone.
definitely
Yeah, everyone who bought fucking ape NFTs. I'm not going to purchase it for more money. So how does that make you feel?
You didn't get Ted. You didn't get Ted.
For anyone on the fence about crypto, look up something called the Bigger Fools scheme.
Oh,
Look
wow.
up gold. Invest in gold. There you go.
Oh dear. Oh boy.
It's actually
I have
plastics.
a tinfoil hat. I wear it.
Plastics. That's
Buy
the
gold.
future.
You'll own it. Real gold.
Real gold.
This is not financial
You
advice.
can touch it.
You want tangible shit.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on the metaverse? Anything tickling you?
I'll give it a shot if it comes out.
All right.
I give it its date in court, right?
Zuckerberg won't get me. He won't get my data.
Zuckerberg won't get me.
Nope.
All right. James, you talked about a super secret game that you were playing.
Yeah.
What is this super secret game?
I'm having an absolute blast with a friend playing a game that came out but kind of like really fell under the radar. It just had DLC that came out this week. It's called Orcs Must Die 3.
Oh, I remember the first two.
Yes, 3 is a blast. Like I can't believe how much fun I'm having. And, you know, with my friend, we're pretty competitive on it. We're
Can you
playing
explain what it is?
I'll explain what it is, but I'll just say we're playing on the hardest difficulty, and we're trying to perfect every level in terms of you can get a score, and you can try and perfect it. You beat it really fast. You kill all the enemies. You don't let any enemies hit your crystal. Anyways, yeah, this is a tower defense game, but it's mainly focused on you killing the enemies versus like and setting up traps.
It's like a third-person shooter.
Yeah, and you're protecting your tower, and if they go and enter your tower so many times, you die. Yeah, it's a third-person type of game. They come through gates.
Third-person tower defense.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, but the main focus is like on building traps and also abilities for your character. You're gonna have like different weapons, different items to enhance your skills, and you can level them up so they can deal more damage, or like they can combine effects. You can have like a tar floor that slows down enemies, and then you can have a fire trap, and then when they interact with each other, it'll set enemies on fire when they go over the tar.
Oh, that's cool.
Really cool little like combination things. There's like little like electricity stuff that also combos. There's also one of my favorite features is you can set up barricades. So let's say they're coming out two paths. You can barricade off one path, and then there's like a little like heads up display before where the enemies will go, and you'll set up the barricades, and they'll walk around to the other one. Cool. So you can block off paths, and then you can just create little mazes and put your traps. It is that to me is like the best thing about this game, that like
that's really
you can
cool.
do that. Yeah, and they won't even hit the barricades. They'll just ignore it and go pathing to an open space. Once there is no like available space, they'll just hit the barricades. So that's why you gotta have like a space available. So we just create like a little one lane and then funnel our traps, and it is an absolute blast. Like I just like think about this game all the time now.
That's awesome.
Just a little something for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Orcs Must Die 3, it was $15. $15.
When did it come out? Do you know off the top of your head?
I think it came out 2020.
Okay. Yeah, because the first one,
it's been a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the first one was when I was in college. I mean, it was like 2012 ish.
Yeah.
Somewhere
and
in there.
It was like Orcs Must Die or Dungeon Defenders, and I played Dungeon Defenders.
Okay, I played Orcs Must Die. Yeah.
I didn't play Orcs Must Die. Dungeon Defenders is the exact same thing, like third person. You can set up traps. You have different abilities and different characters, but
yeah,
Orcs Must Die. Wow, I'm having absolute.
That's awesome. I actually didn't even know they made a third one, but I remember the first two, and I really enjoyed them. So
it came out and in like completely the wrong time in terms of like other games were just way better, and it was like $60.
Oh,
so it's like I'm not gonna pay $60 for this tower defense game.
But $15. Excuse me.
$15. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, on sale. Now it's back up to 30. So I don't know if it's worth 30, but 15.
Yeah, maybe I'll wait for that. It seems like a game that could come to Game Pass or something eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. It's a perfect Game Pass game. Yeah.
Orcs Must Die 3. That was not what I was expecting. I'm excited.
It's fun.
Ted. you've played some of Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga.
I have played some of Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga.
Which episode?
How much? Yeah, how much have you played?
Not a lot,
Okay.
honestly, and I say that not well. I haven't played a lot, and I haven't played a lot because this is a big game.
Holy shit!
Huge.
Where'd you start?
So,
what
episode 1,
okay.
where I started my first Lego Star Wars experience.
Of course.
God.
Yeah. Well, so
thoughts?
I'll get a couple things out of the way. I bought it for the Xbox.
Okay.
Great.
My game crashes a lot.
Oh,
I don't know if you're
great.
experiencing this.
I'm
yeah.
on PS5 and I have not crashed once.
So
PC,
it seems
no crashes.
it
You played
seems
as
to
well,
cr-
James?
I've started it.
I think it's all co-op related. We seem to crash when we
for
both
co-op.
like try and switch characters at the same time, or if we're switching a character and somebody goes through a door, like a you're leaving this area door. The whole game just cuts to black and we have to restart.
Huh.
The game autosaves a lot, which is great, but like
Yeah, that sucks.
it happened. I think it happened 3 times, and then on our last time we were like, all right, let's just play until we crash out, and then we'll be done.
Have you looked it up? Maybe like there's like a.
No.
It
It was just we have not, but it was just a super weird thing.
That's
just
bizarre.
wanted to report that.
Yeah.
Well, so you're playing co-op?
Yeah.
How's that?
It's well, so I guess I'll talk about it. I played the first Lego Star Wars, which I love dearly, which is that like it's one camera and you're looking at 2 people kind of run. This is very different. It is third person. You're kind of behind your Lego character, so the screen splits. It's okay. I think the camera is a little bit too zoomed in, which I might be able to edit in settings, because you are seeing a lot of your little Lego figure and not a lot of the world around you, which can be a little bit weird.
I don't think that is a problem on single player.
Yeah. No, I played a few minutes of it on single player, and it's a totally fine like screen. So it's a little thing. It's something we'll get used to as we play. I ended up being really scared to not like this because of how different it is from the original. But I've kind of come around. It feels like a much more mature version of what Lego Star Wars used to be. What Lego games used to be.
Yeah, so I've played 2 full episodes. I've played episodes 4 and 5, the best 2 Star Wars movies, of course. Yeah, as we all know.
Yes.
But I've played 2 episodes all the way through, and I'm very surprised at how short the actual levels are.
Yep.
To complete like the story chapter.
Yeah.
But
So.
Go ahead. But I'm realizing that that's not what this game is.
Yep.
That is the appetizer to start the game. Are these episodes, and the real game is exploring every planet that they have given you. And that's interesting to me. I'm excited about that.
I was a little bit annoyed. Well, you're right. In the first game, you kind of play through the levels, and there's extra stuff along the side. You can definitely find it. Some of the stuff is really hidden
chapter
in the
of
level.
The story. So it'd be like, this is the chapter where you meet Jar Jar Binks, and that's the story.
Yeah. This one, you're right. You go to these big areas that are very open, very large.
Yeah.
And then it's like, here's the main objective, and then there's characters you can talk to get side quests, right?
Yep.
And there's all kinds of hidden stuff all over the place. And so the first thing I did was like, let's do the story. And we started doing it, and it was like super easy. It was like, walk over here. And then we walked over there, and it's like, do you want to continue? And we hit yes. And then it's like, all right, you're doing something else. And you're like, wait, I literally just walked from here to here. That was super easy. And then we were like, okay, let's stop and like find everything, because this is kind of a puzzle platformer, or like a collectible platformer. And then we ran into the like, you're on level 2, dude. Like, you don't have anyone with blasters. We don't have a Astro Droid to open the thing. And so now I'm in this place where like, I guess we just blast through the story to unlock stuff, and then we're going to come back to stuff later.
That's apparently what you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
that's a very Star Wars thing though, because that was like a case in the other Star Wars game that we were playing.
Yeah.
So it's a little weird that I'm kind of having to like force myself to just blast through a not very.
You said the word force.
Yeah, you can't say blast.
Yeah, you're right. Or blast. But like it's kind of weird because now I do want to just play the game the other way and just go to the area, hang out, try and figure out the puzzles. But like you're kind of stopped by the puzzle aspects that are unlocked by playing the game. So it's a little bit weird. I think it'll just flush itself out the more you play.
I think the more that I think the faster that you clear all 9 episodes of the story, and then are just able to like, I'm going to go to Yavin 4 and explore all of it. I'm gonna go to Camino, and like I think that's now how the game is supposed to be played.
Yeah,
is from what it feels like playing like 5 hours of it or whatever.
Yeah.
So
I got a question for both of you. Do you think they're gonna DLC this game with some stuff, like maybe some Mando, maybe some other?
They already have.
They have characters
skin packs.
Yeah, I know you have skin packs, but like story-wise,
I don't know because it took them so long to develop this game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also.
You think it's a one and done?
But
Jake,
I could see Rogue One or something, maybe.
Oh,
Jake,
Rogue One would be so good.
you've played a lot more of this game than me, but like from what I can tell, the two things that I just described of like you go to this open world area, there's a whole bunch of kind of side activities, and then there's just a way forward. That seems to be the thing. Like
yes,
you go to a new place. And so I don't know what DLC will bring. Like the Mandalorian DLC will be on the same place in the same city, doing the same general thing.
I could see him adding planets and stuff, but like I think at this point, like this is pretty much the complete. Like this is the game. This is
also, there is a lot.
There are 380 something characters in this game.
Wow.
Yeah. And like we said, like each area is like a little hub to explore. Like I don't know. I'm on level 3 of episode 1, but like in each level there are 3 different open areas to explore with their own secrets and collectibles. So haven't even brushed the surface of the game. I'm on like and there are already these 3 large areas that I have not even done close to exploring.
I feel that way, and I've played 2 full movies, and like I'm like I've done nothing. I've done legitimately nothing.
I will say this seems like a great game if you want to like zone out. If you just want to like sit back, not really care, run around blowing everything up, collecting things, and just kind of, just kind of going with the flow, but not really like with intention of beating the game or anything. It seems like a very fun.
Yeah,
I'm enjoyable for that.
I'm excited about because I've now beaten Elden Ring to just like chill with Lego Star Wars. Like it sounds like so perfect of just like, I'm not going to really care. I'm just going to hang out and play as Luke Skywalker as much as possible. Like I'm good. Yeah. So I think it's beautiful. I think graphically it's gorgeous. I think so far a lot of the jokes and the humor are landing perfectly. There's a great Lando Calrissian C-3PO joke that I've really enjoyed so far. So I think a lot of like the Lego-ish humor is really funny in this game. So I think I'm excited to see how much more is in there.
How do you like the voice acting?
I don't hate it, but I wish that it was just the gibberish. Yeah. Like I missed like there's nothing funnier than the Lego Star Wars moment of Darth Vader describing he's Luke's dad by pulling out a picture of Anakin and Padme and going, and then he goes, oh, like that's hilarious.
Yeah, I agree. The silent movie humor that they had in the old ones was so good and so timeless. And to just have voice acting, and it's not even like goofy or it's for a bit, it's just
real.
Yeah, it's just real, and you're like, all right.
Yeah, like they're saying lines from the movies.
Yeah.
Actually, Obi-Wan like really attempting the voices.
I do like the Obi-Wan actor though because he just like is very monotone and it's very funny to me.
The prequel Obi-Wan actor does a pretty good.
The prequel is almost even.
Okay.
I was pretty impressed, but no
Liam Neeson.
Neeson. Yeah, and so it's part. These people have faces or are real people that didn't get voice acting.
What do you think of the Anakin?
It's so funny. He's awful.
I'm excited.
Oh, I'm just a boy.
Oh God, please stop it.
Ted, have you pod raced yet?
I have pod raced.
How was it?
Well, did you ever play the original Star Wars pod racing?
Like
the Lego Star Wars pod racing?
Yeah.
What about the arcade one? You ever play the arcade pod racing?
I played the arcade one. That's a good game.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh.
So I have a sidebar about that, but it's fine. It was beatable. The original Lego Star Wars pod racing was like impossible to beat.
Oh, okay.
So hard. It's definitely like you just fly through and it kind of auto wins for you.
Okay.
That being said, the pod racing map, I'm pretty sure it's the same course from the arcade game.
Oh,
from the game
or the movie. I don't know. I was doing it and I was like, is this just the same? Like, have they kept the same course over the years?
The game looks great, and it makes me think. I always think about that arcade game because it's like, damn, that'd be a really good VR game if they fully.
I'm waiting for either a pod racing movie all on its own, starring Vin Diesel, or a new pod racing game.
Pod racing
in lieu of the arcade N64
Disney
PC
Plus
one.
pod racing, please.
With Vin Diesel.
Yes.
It's got to be
see,
Vin Diesel.
pod racing is sick. I'm into it. And if they made a new game or movie, I would happily enjoy it.
I'd be in for a pod racing with Vin Diesel. Yeah.
Me too. I'm in.
I ride these things around the track, man. That's it.
Family.
Family.
Is that your Vin Diesel impression?
It's close enough.
We need to go to bed.
Thank you so much for watching the 93rd episode of the Side Escape Gaming Podcast. My name is Jake. That's Ted. That's James. And we will see you next week.